it's starting to feel a little bit more settled in and lived in just from doing the daily tasks of living. I super love this little table. It's like a really small desk. It does, the legs fold flat, so if I wanted to like put it away and like store it up against a wall or something like that, I could do that. But what I love is that it's really lightweight, so I can just like move it. If I want to sit here, I can move it here. I often find that I sit over here. I have like a little blanket folded, like a little Baja blanket folded. I find that I often sit here and work on my journaling or writing, reading, video editing, stuff like that here. I have this little like USB spotlight for project work, so that if I'm working after dark, I still can see my artwork and things like that. I've got my journal here, some various lists of tasks and things I want to work on. I often eat my breakfast, lunch, and dinner at this table. It's really small, but it's working out really great. Of all the things that I purchased for the apartment when I first moved in there, so I found out about the apartment around just a little after I found out about this tiny house. I couldn't move into the tiny house right away because it was winter and I was warned by Tomas that basically it gets snowed in, and he was able to work remotely, but I'm not. So I found out about this tiny house in October last year and had to kind of put off my utilization and moving in until I knew that I could get to work. But anyway, this desk is like 16 inches deep and 36 inches wide. And it's small. I mean, it's compact. When I'm working or eating or doing anything at this table, it's not really good for multitasking. Like, it's not good to like have all your work project, your art project or whatever out while you're trying to eat at that table. You kind of have to focus on one thing at a time. And I think maybe that's one of the boons of living here is like, it's a small enough space that you can really only have the stuff out for the thing that you're currently working on. So with all of that, I'm really happy with the memory foam on top of this bench. It's really comfortable. I've slept on this bench couch every night since I've been here. I haven't opened that cot one single time since I moved here. I'm trying to decide if it's worth keeping as a really fancy pants sun chair for the porch. I don't know. We'll see. I may have just spent money on something that I didn't really need, which is not new in my life, but it's something I need to do less of if I'm going to live on a budget and if I'm going to live in a 120 square foot space. So let me just kind of show you where we're at. On day 7, 1 week from the first day that I spent here. Let's start kind of here. So, little entrance, you can kind of see where I'm starting to build habits of like taking off my shoes when I get inside. I do have this little like boot rack thing that I can put my muddy boots on because it is super muddy outside still. I pretty much have been keeping my rain jacket and rain suit here because it's been raining nearly every day. I also have like kind of a cold weather jacket, my helmet. That stuff's been kind of like going on the same hook each time. So I'm starting to build some habits there. I do have some clothes in the closet, but not a ton. I found these like really perfectly sized like storage tubs that have lids that I think will keep the spiders out of my clothes because there's a lot of like spiders and stuff here. It's, we're out in the woods. So up on top, I still have some just like miscellaneous like backpack stuff that I've just kind of thrown in a tub and put up there out of the way. I've got my harmonium and my ukulele up on the tall shelf. There's nothing else up there right now. Up in this top corner, I have like some clear storage tubs that at the apartment I was using to store yarn, and I have my first couple of like books up there. I feel pretty good about most things. I am absolutely loving my kitchen setup. It's the best. I did a video on that yesterday. It was so awesome. I was excited. I have some dishes in the sink, so it's time to wash that guy out. But the way that the sun comes in first thing in the morning through the kitchen window, that direction faces east, so I get morning sun, and then in this window in the evening, the afternoon and evening, I can kind of warm up the tiny house by opening these curtains and enjoying a little sun that way as well. I'm not really sure like what else to tell you except that I'm really happy here. I'm starting to think about how to make living here long term work. By long term, a year. Could I make it a winter out here? By long term, if you would allow me to stay longer, if he and I continue to develop our friendship and we have good trust in each other, and I'm able to contribute something, whether he wants to charge rent or I could help with utilities, or if I can just kind of help maintain the property. He's out here by himself running a garden, fending off his garden from deer, mowing the enormous amount of pathways into the tall prairie grass. That's another thing I was really excited about. Let me see. I don't know if you'll be able to see any of this, and I might have to put my boots on. But some of the formerly tamped down grass, like when I first came out here, all the grass was just like flattened from being buried under feet of snow all winter. But I can hear the land absorbing the water. Like, even though there's no quote unquote running water super nearby, I can hear the sound of the water like being absorbed into the land. When I take steps, there's like a sound of water draining through the soil, following me from where I've made impressions in the in the earth, and the water is kind of taking that gravity path, which is cool. But out here you can start to see that some of the grass that was like the tall grass that was previously like tamped down is starting to fill up with enough water that it's springing back up, which is so exciting. Like, I think that I failed to realize that, because the last time I was out here was the fall, that a lot of this area is like super wild, tall prairie grasses, and he has like a big riding, giant lawnmower thing that he carves like paths that you can walk the land in paths. When I was first kind of like walking the land and exploring, I could see where the grass was like really short, and then other places where the super tall long grasses had been like tamped down, it just looked like long pieces of yellow straw all over the land. And I realized that it was just the prairie grass that had been dumped on by snow and then buried under the snow for 5 months. But like I said, now that it's thawing, we're starting to see enough water come back into the stems of this long grass that is starting to stand back up. I'm excited to see what this place looks like as it's blooming, as it's coming back into its like warm weather season. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I'm utilizing this space right now. When I've been here a month as opposed to a week, I'm excited to see, what things I brought that I don't actually need and start to get rid of. It's nice that I have the bike and the bike trailer now, so I can bring things from the apartment that I still want here by bike, and things that I'm ready to let go of, or realize that I no longer need or I'm just not using on a regular enough basis to own. I can drop off to Goodwill in the bike and the bike trailer as well. So that's exciting. I have no problem using like the unplumbed tiny toilet for pee. I've been doing that for years. I did that lots in the truck.
I've had various living situations where I was supposed to have plumbing, but did not have plumbing while I've been living up here. And so I just kind of got used to doing that. I also, like, when Quinn was really little, changing diapers and potty training and all that kind of stuff, I just grew really accustomed to, like, dealing with body stuff. It doesn't freak me out. I don't feel weird about it. I know how to stay clean. I still feel very hygienic. I don't feel like anything is putting my health at risk or I'm creating health hazards for myself or anything. I've been doing this for a really long time. I've also done a lot of, like, backpacking, camping, living off grid for short periods of time, out in wild places with no cell phone reception, no plumbing, no facilities, no showers, stuff like that. I've done that tons of times over the last many years, on short term timelines. And so living out here is kind of like taking everything I've learned from doing that and seeing if I can make it go longer. The other nice thing is I'm literally a 2 mile, which is 10 minutes on my bike, ride from the center of the nearest town. Tons of businesses where I can go in, buy a cup of coffee, and also use the restroom. Um, Tons of places where I can go grab, a little something that I need. I can connect to other humans. I'm not, like, out here in, like, wild Alaska, like 100 miles from any conveniences. Like, the land itself does have plumbing and electricity at the main property, and so all those things are a few steps away. And then, anything else I might need as far as, like, I don't know, supplies, access to a toilet, things like that are very, very close by and easy to get to, and it's an enjoyable ride. Um, so yeah, week one, this is kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna give you a little, like, 360. I still have some plastic tubs that are stacked up in the corner over here that I need to find a place for or take back to the apartment and refill with more things that I'm bringing over. Tomas still has a few belongings here. He left town for, like, 2 weeks, and right before he left, he was like, "Are you gonna move in while I'm gone?" And it had not occurred to me to do that or that it was available. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, probably not." I wasn't really thinking about that. And then, like, I did start to think about it after he mentioned it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally moving in. I'm just gonna go do it. He said I could. I'm just gonna do it." So I kind of spontaneously, while he was out of town, kind of planted myself here. And so, there's a lot of things that I want to talk with him about, making sure I'm honoring his boundaries and acknowledging his generosity and letting me live here in this beautiful place that he's built and sharing the land with him and just making sure I'm respecting his place and, taking care of it in a way that feels respectful. So, yeah, let me show you kind of a little 360 tour of where we are at on day 7 and see how it goes.